All right, take care.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That was dope. That was dope. We did it, boys.
Hello and welcome back to the Illest Podcast. Today's episode, Jason, we've been excited for a while.
We've been waiting for this for about a month now.
So when we originally started this podcast, there was one person I wanted to get. There was one person that I was like, hey, let me do this thing through the comms department. And this is the one person that I want to get on here. And we have her.
Finally.
Yeah.
Sister Mary.
Pressure.
No pressure. You're the
No
president.
pressure. But you are the president of this university, and any interaction I have with you, it's so pleasant and it's amazing. And I don't feel I feel like that not many other universities students can say that. I interact with the president every now and then, and it's like the best interaction of all time.
I feel like you have a very calming presence as you come in the room. I was nervous the entire time, but seeing you here, you're very relaxed and making us relax, feel at home.
That's
It's
great.
a beautiful place.
That's great. I appreciate that you said that. I really do. It's so good to be here.
Yeah. So, before we came on the show, we were talking a little bit. You're saying your busy schedule that you've been going through. How do you manage time being the president of a university?
You know, I remember I once went to a workshop when I first became the president, and Jason, there was a question. They put us in a circle and they said, "What's the one thing after 6 months that's most concerning to you?" And one woman said that the job is relentless. And I thought, wow, she's right. It's like all day long. And then, for example, when I go home at night, I'll have something to eat, and then I'll work for another couple hours. And then when I wake up in the morning, I work for a couple of hours before I come in. And then on the weekend, I work. Even when I go on vacation, I work. But it's okay because I love it. So when you love your work, it's almost like it's not work.
Yeah,
that's a big thing.
Yeah. So, and the best thing about it is all of you, students. If it weren't for the students, I wouldn't love it as much. But I think you make it for me. I know you do.
I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, thank you. One thing I would definitely agree with is when you're doing something that you love doing, it doesn't matter how much time you're spending with it.
Right.
It's kind of like a part of our studies in a way, and this is a part of our class practicum in a way. But it doesn't Jason and I will be texting at 3-4 a.m. Sometimes we'll be having for 2-3 hours. It's 3 a.m. And it never feels like we're working. It always feels like we're just having fun. And it's some other people that are my friends that are in other departments, they look at it and they're like, dang, that's a lot of work. And I'm just like, no, it's just fun.
Yeah.
I love doing it.
Yeah.
So you're doing what you're supposed to be doing then.
And that's the great thing about finding the field that you're supposed to be in is that it just feels right. It connects.
Yep.
You talk a lot about doing work outside of your proper job. So what kind of work do you do when you get home?
I don't do desk work when I'm here because I usually have meetings with faculty and staff and students and donors. That's a big thing, meeting with donors, board members. Now today I had meetings with board members. And so when I go home, that's when I do the paperwork and the desk work. It's not so bad, I have a turtle in my kitchen, so I sit there, there's my turtle, I turn on the TV, get a cup of coffee, it's perfect. It's just, that part is actually relaxing, so I don't feel put upon or overworked or anything like that. I just enjoy it.
It's therapeutic in that sense.
Yeah.
You're kind of just going through and hanging out with your turtle. What's your turtle's name?
My turtle name is Sam.
Sam.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. I've had him for 19 years.
19 years. They last forever.
They
don't
do.
they?
I'm going to put him in my will. I'll look around here. So maybe one of you will get Sam in your will.
We can put him in the background in a little tank
Yeah,
or
that's
something.
right.
There we go.
It's going to say the Sam tank, and he's just going to be enjoying himself.
It's a huge tank.
Yeah.
Sam the turtle.
There we go.
There you go.
But one thing actually we wanted to ask you was, how did you come to Marywood?
Well, that's an interesting story. Do you know, I came to school to Marywood.
Oh.
I was a student. And so I won't tell you how long ago it was, but it was way back when it was still a woman's university. You had to wear a skirt if you were here. You had to do, you had to be in your dorm at night at 9 o'clock on the weekdays and 11 o'clock on the weekends. It was really pretty strict. But I really loved it here. I was the president of the student governance when I was here, and I got to meet lots of people, lots of faculty, and it was fun. So at the end of that, I became a sister because I met the sisters here, and I had a boyfriend, but I told him I was going to become a sister, and I did that, and the rest is history. That was many, many years ago. So throughout my life, I was a teacher, I was the high school principal, I was the president of the sisters, I worked in healthcare, and then this job came open, and a couple of people said, "Why don't you apply?" And I said, "Okay," and I did, and here I am. And I love it.
Yeah.
It's kind of been trending that way. You're the president of the student government and then the principal, president of the...
You were just like going up and up, and it was destiny.
Yeah. Well, it was a good path. Yeah, it felt good.
Is this what you've been dreaming of since you were a child, going to school for it? So you said you were a teacher for a while. Was that your original goal, or how did that change?
My parents were teachers, and I really admired them, and I liked that they had the summers off. Of course, that never happened to me.
That's one of the best parts about being teachers. Yeah.
But I admired them, and so I always wanted to be a teacher. And then sisters really kind of started this organization, this institution. And it was always in the back of my mind that it might be nice to come back here. And so it's been good.
Yeah, because it's a trend that we've seen with a lot of actually of our teachers that teach here as well. They used to go here and then they went away.
Right.
But then it's just something that just brought them back.
Yeah,
to,
it feels
continue
like
here.
home,
Yeah. That's one thing that I really love about this university, and it's something that got me to come here, because when I never took a tour. Because it was during the time of COVID, I took an online tour. And then I was looking at videos, and I'm like, oh, it seems friendly. And I was like, I'm still not sure, but, let's just do it. Let's apply. I got in, and then after coming here, and I was just the first semester was very weird, but because all the restrictions and, everything. But slowly, I was just like, this feels like home. It's so friendly, and if I ever need help, all my teachers are always there. There's, different facilities we have here, and, everyone's super friendly and, outgoing, and, they're willing to help you.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing about this place that I don't feel in a lot of other universities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I transferred. I've transferred several times,
Really?
and I won't say the name, but the school I was at before, I kind of never felt like I was really welcome there. I was like an outcast in a sense, but this is my second semester here. And even after the first semester, after the first few weeks of the first semester I was here, I had met Ruben, I had met pretty much everyone. I was involved in, they have practicum here, so I was involved in the radio station and the publication here. And it kind of throws you into everything, and it's a great experience feeling welcomed at the university you're at, because I know how it's like to not kind of feel, not feel like I'm supposed to be there. But here it feels home.
That's great. I just think that's really one of the hallmarks of being here is that I believe we should accept everybody. We're all different. Every single person is different. And that difference should not separate us from each other. It should make us bond together, because the more you get to know people's differences, the more you look at them and say, yeah, I like that. And it just broadens your life. It broadens your experience. And I keep saying that all the time. Like I say it at orientation. It's like, we have to embrace each other, and no matter what it is about the other person, find out about it and welcome that person into your life. And that's just really important to me, and I think it's important to the sisters who founded Marywood. They wanted everyone to feel equal, so I hope that's everybody's experience. It probably isn't, because people are people, but we'll keep at it anyway. We'll keep trying.
Yeah, how do you feel like you help move that forward, the feeling of equality here? What do you do to help that?
Well, whenever I meet the students for the first time, like new students at orientation, I always say this. I say, you're not here by accident. You're here because you belong here. Because so much in your life, you were born in India, How did you end at Marywood University in the United States of America, in a little town? I just think you were meant to be here. And so when people come together and they're here, I say, you're here because you belong here. And so I keep trying to, bring that home to everybody. It's like, this is where you belong, so just be at home here and be comfortable. So I try to make sure that people who feel alienated or bullied or depressed or whatever they feel know that there are people around them who care about them and who will help them. I just got a lovely letter from a mother whose son came here, and for whatever reason, he didn't quite make it. But it's possible he'll come back. But the mother wrote and said, it wasn't your fault, not me, but Marywood. She said, everyone did everything they could to help him. They called him at night, they checked on him during the day, they helped him with his studies. She said, you did the right thing, even though it didn't work. And maybe someday he'll come back. So we just keep trying. We don't always succeed, but I just think it's important because this world is so messed up. Mm-hmm. And it's messed up because we don't accept each other. And it's just so simple that we make it hard.
Wow, yeah. It's profound.
No, yeah, I feel like this is kind of like the reason I wanted to have you on the podcast. It's because it's like we wanted to get to know more about you, and just like talking to you right now, it's just like I don't think there could have been a better president for this university.
Thank you. I'm sure there was, but
but you're taking the next generation. You're leading them forward with the correct mindset. Because again, as I mentioned before, like I've been through rough times in colleges, and coming here, no one's looking down at you, no one's making fun of you or judging you. Yeah. They want you to do what you want to do and succeed. And again, that comes from the top down. That's not going to happen if you don't have someone, a great president like yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Great students.
Thank you. One thing we did want to ask you is like, I know this is something that I've recently been thinking about. I mean, I'm only 20. I haven't lived a lot yet, but it's something that's already in my mind. But for I'm pretty sure retirement is in the future. But what is the legacy that you would like to leave at this place?
Wow, that's a great question.
Thank you.
I would like people. I don't want any awards. Who needs awards? They just gather dust in your house. I would like people to say that I saw the qualities, the skills, the talents in people, and I try to bring them out of those people and make them the best people they could be. So, I've had people in my life that, other people said, they're not so hot. And I would say, well, but they could do this. And then kind of bring them to the place where they needed to be, meet them where they are and bring them to a higher place. And I like to spend my life trying to do that. So if people would say that about me, that would be the best legacy, I think. I don't need any awards. I just need to know that
because nothing means as much as impacting someone's life positively.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much wasted potential out there that, as you say, they say, oh, I can't do this or can't do that, but you say, well, how about this? Try something different.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there's something in it. Everybody has something in them, right?
Yeah.
Everybody. So I remember one time I was a principal, and this teacher kept throwing this kid out of class every single day. You're no good for nothing, leave my class, you go to the principal's office. And I just sat down with the kid. I said, look, let's play a little game. Every day you come here, you check in with me, you go to the class, be as good as you can. But I hate that teacher. I don't care. You be as good as you can. And pay attention, and then come out and give me a thumbs up. And he did that for a whole semester. You know what? He learned a lot. And he said, I never would have done that, but you supported me and you helped me. Then I'm not proud for me. I'm happy for him because he learned something, and he learned that he had to respect that person even though we didn't like her. And he's a very successful businessman today.
Nice.
That's what you got to do. You got to stay with people.
Yeah, there's more to life than the differences between you and
Yeah.
someone else. You have to accept them. There's like acceptance and equality. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of times, and like I feel like it's for everyone that's like a bad student at first, but then somewhat like makes it and does something better. There's always that one teacher or that one principal or that guidance counselor that kind of helped them. Luckily for me, I've had a lot of those in my life.
Good.
Like no matter what university I go to, or like, why did I say university? The first university. I mean like. College or school, like middle school, high school, and now in Marywood. I've always had someone, like at least one teacher that's always been there and been able to guide me in a proper way. Because originally I wasn't going to go far away for college, I was just going to commute. But then I had a teacher, my actually assistant principal, said that go away for at least 1 year and then come back and see what happens.
Yeah.
Then I did that, and then a lot of people were like, you're different, but like in a better way. And then they were like, oh, I'm still the same, like I'm doing this, but you're like different. But I feel like that was because that teacher was there to push me here, and then teachers here pushed me to do better and create more. And like I thank teachers and principals like you that actually look out for the kids, and instead of just being like, he's just a mess up, like you guys actually put the effort and take your own time to kind of like push those students forward. So thank
It's
you for
really a
that.
vocation, not a job. You know, it's a calling, you know, to help people, no matter where it is, whether it's in a school or wherever. It's important to do that. So that's great.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about a great experience you had as a high school principal. Was it?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite experience you've had as the president of Marywood in the past? It's been 7 years.
Yeah,
5 or
7 years.
So.
Wow. I've had so many good experiences here. I don't know which one I want to pick. You know, sometimes it's the things that aren't so good. Like last year, we closed the program because it wasn't being successful. And we only had a few students in it. And the students protested. I don't know if you remember that. Exercise science.
Exercise science.
Yeah.
One of those.
Athletics, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
athletics, yeah. And students protested. And people were mad, like, oh, what are they protesting for? And I said, you know, they have a right to protest. You know, that's our right as citizens of this country. So I went where they were standing and protesting, and I talked to them. And I felt like we really sort of hit it off, you know. I was like, I was in awe at how respectful they were and how they articulated why they were protesting and how they were sticking up for their classmates who were going to maybe be out of a program. And I thought, this is what education in a university is all about, is that people can really express their opinions in ways that are important to them, and we can let them have that freedom. So that stands out as something. It was just a little thing, but it stands out as, to me, what university education is about: discourse and being respectful in doing that and explaining your position. Because once they explained it to me, I said, I understand now. You know, and we tried to help them through that so that they wouldn't lose anything academically or in any other way.
I find that communication in a time of distress like that is very difficult a lot. And again, the point of college not only is to learn about the specific field that you're in, but also to prepare you for real life discourse in real life situations. And something like that proves that the students are learning in that way.
Yeah, yeah. So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Go for it. Yeah, okay.
That's good. So do you think that, you know that we have core values, do you think that we advance them enough here so that students' lives change and become better so that when they leave here, they're their own people and they are good citizens?
It's funny you say that because I was actually looking at my stuff that I pulled up about Marywood's core values. I was actually going to say that with how you try to do things in this university and how you just explain that situation, we're talking to the students, that kind of shows the core values of like respect, empowerment, and even service, where you're respecting them and they're because the core value of empowerment is giving them the power to like kind of protest, and it's kind of like a service to kind of like talk. So I was like, oh, you're kind of like talking. It was like coming in my head. I'm like, oh, you're talking about the core values of the university, and it's kind of like funny you asked that question because I'm like, yeah, this university does do a lot. I mean, like there are with every place, there's a couple of bad apples in terms of students, not faculty,
Of course.
that like just don't care, that are like, no matter where they go, they're there to party or do whatever, distract
Exactly.
other students. But a good amount of people, even if like they don't know much about the core values and they don't know, they can't name all of them, like from what they're taught from their teachers and like everything else, I feel like they kind of show that. Like the especially like empowerment, respect, and service. That's like I see that quite a lot in this university, and same thing with some people with Catholic identity. It's like really big for them, and same things as excellence. They try their or their best to like do the best in classes, but as well as kind of like respect others and like, okay, you want to have fun, let's go have fun. But then after that, let's come back study for a bit. So yeah, I just found it funny that you asked that question.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I like to think that, like you said, people can't recite them all at the top of their, tip of their tongue, but that they somehow have, they have been instilled in them, and then they live their lives that way.
Yeah.
And when they grow up and, live with other people and perhaps have families and start businesses, those values are going to be part and parcel of everything they do. You know? So that's what we strive for.
I think it's definitely working. Yeah. And in the 2 semesters I've been here, it's been instilled into my head, which is a great thing. It's not like I'm learning how to be more open and accepting, because I wasn't always a great person. We've all made mistakes, but since I've been here, I've been improving so much through learning to become a better person, not only with skills but in my mindset.
Do you think your families and friends see that in you?
They have to, yeah.
Probably do, definitely. I know I've been told a lot that I'm like different from a lot of like family members and friends from like before I came to college and after, like, oh, you take care of yourself now, you do a lot more stuff now. Like, I have a skincare routine now. I didn't have that before. I mean,
Good for you.
I do that now, and it's just like, oh, I have like 7 different products that I use in the morning and at nighttime. It's like, oh, I didn't do that before. You didn't take care of yourself. But like, I kind of learned that after coming to like Marywood here is like, you got to take care of yourself.
You
You got to
do.
like with respecting others also goes hand in hand in respecting yourself
Absolutely.
and giving yourself the respect of let me take care of myself for a bit.
And if you do that, you're going to stay looking young for a really long time.
I'll try.
Good. Keep it going.
But one thing was like we always start off kind of like formal, but then we kind of go into conversation. So I just wanted to ask you, what are some like fun memories you have from college when you went?
Wow. Fun memories from college. I I was going with a guy who, as I said, this was an all-girls school, and I was going with a guy who went to Franklin and Marshall College, which is down in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And it was a funny thing because his father was a doctor, and he had a little money, and so this kid I was going with used to fly me to Franklin and Marshall College every other weekend. So I go to the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Airport. He would have sent me a ticket. You don't do it. There were no phones back then. Give my ticket, fly to the Lancaster Airport. He'd pick me up. He had a Barracuda. I remember that. And the students would be like, "Whoa, who do you think you are?" Getting flown to Franklin and Marshall. That was fun. I look back on that. We had good times, So that was one thing. And here, we did all kinds of things here. We did serious things. I remember going up to an area north of Scranton to help with the migrant workers. These were Mexican families that came up to pick the crops. And they just came up from Florida, and by the fall, they were up here in the Scranton area, and they had spent the whole summer picking crops right up to the country, and we would go up there at night and play with their kids.
Wow.
And sing with them, and read to them, and help them to learn stuff, to do math, That was really fun too. So there were the fun times like flying to Franklin and Marshall,
Yeah.
and then the serious times like helping people. And then I lived in the dorm and I loved it. I just loved it. We didn't have cell phones back then, and we were able to be on the phone for 10 minutes at a time. And we had somebody who would come by. It was like an RA who would come by and knock on the door because we were in a phone booth and say, "Your time is up." We'd have to get off the
Jeez.
phone, and we would beg them to let us stay longer. Just stupid things. But, it makes for fun. It makes for fun. And we had a lot of fun.
And some great memories too, and
Mm-hmm.
impacting lives not only as college students, but
Yeah.
again the
Mhm.
immigrant workers. That's crazy. That's very thoughtful again, and I can see how that mindset has transformed into who
Yeah.
you are today. And I keep just complimenting, but it
Yeah.
truly is a great experience here.
No.
And
Good,
even
I'm
just being
glad.
on.
We're not just saying that because you are like the president, because like we've
good.
had other episodes where it's just like it's just been Jason and I. When we first started, none of this was here. It was just me, Jason, 2 mics, 2 cameras. That's it. That's what it was. And this was not too long ago. This was about
a month and a half.
month and a
probably.
half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now seeing as how everything is transformed, and it's because of like how this university empowers us to like do like our own projects and how they like push us to like do better. It's like the comms department went, yeah, go for it, go do more. And then we have like a crew now, and this is all thanks to how the university just like does things and how they and how everyone here just decides to function. It's like, oh, push the students to do more. Like I know, like, sometimes I would have, like, actually this semester even, I had a class where I wasn't doing that well. But the teacher was like, I know you could do this. Like, you have a knack for this. And, like,
Wow.
and then it came to doing the practical stuff. And when it comes to, like, writing terms and all that, I can't do it. But when it came to, like, actually filming and, like, doing the projects, and he was like, this is great. And then I showed him my final, and then he goes, this is perfect. He goes, like, you have a knack for this. It's like, teachers here just push you to do more and like be a better version of yourself. And I feel like again that comes from top down. Like I can't speak for how it was like maybe 8 years ago before your time was taking over because I wasn't here, but like I know now it's like a lot of people go away saying like, oh, whenever I have a conversation with Sister Mary, it's amazing. And like I see her, I wave, and then she waves back, and I just love that about this university. And we would like to like thank you for
You're
that.
welcome. I don't think of the students as, I just think of them as peers and friends because you have so many skills. Like yesterday, I was at the, art department, and they were doing their presentations for the end of the semester, and those things were magnificent. And I don't know anything about that stuff, but what they know. They were able to take this ability that they have within them and develop all of this nuclear stuff and solar stuff and environmental stuff. And I'm like, whoa. And it's the future. And I think that's why, we as faculty and staff say, we have to listen to our students. And what they need or want, we have to let them have it because that's what education is. We can't impart anything to you. We have to let you flourish as people. And I think that's what we want to do. So that's what we did by letting you do this. I hope it gets better and better. And I come back here in the second semester, and it's huge.
That's the idea.
That's the idea. We would love to do that. And thanks for saying that you would like to come back and hopefully it's even bigger.
Yeah,
'cause
sure.
That gives us hope that you have hope in us.
I do have hope in you, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And as the viewers know, it's time for our break. So we'll see you guys in a second.
So we're taking this little break to give you this advertisement read, which is we want to promote 91.7 VMFM.
Is the alternative radio station that's on campus that every student is allowed to attend, and they're allowed to be a DJ on it. So if you ever have any inclinations or creative outlets you want to do in radio, VMFM is where you want to go.
Yeah, and we also take music submissions. We are an alternative radio station, but any song that you might want on it, you could give it in and we'll put it in for submission. And after that, you might get it on the radio station.
Yeah, so if a song plays, you can be the one to tell all your friends, yeah, I'm the reason the song is
Yeah.
on the radio station right now.
Or, hey, I have a radio shift. Maybe you should tune in around like 3 p.m. on Wednesdays, and you might be able to hear me on there.
And especially, you can call in as well. When there's a DJ in, there's a number that they give. You can call in and request songs if they're already on the playlist. So if you're listening to the radio, you want a specific song, call in and ask them.
Yeah, so make sure to check out 91.7 VMFM.
It's actually what I wanted to tell you is actually, and the viewers, this is actually the last episode of the season.
Right.
This is the last episode of season 1, and this is actually going out in January.
Okay.
The week before or the week of the start of the next semester.
Perfect.
So yeah, we're a little ahead in terms of recording.
That's
but,
okay.
But we did that on purpose. So for students that might be just starting out their semester, do you have a message for them, or for students who might be a little nervous coming back into the second semester, maybe some freshmen that didn't do that well this first semester and like are nervous? So do you have a message for them and even the returning students?
Well, I just think that everyone should remember. My mother said this to me one day. I was telling her that I wanted something, and she had to give it to me. And I was 10 years old. And I was stomping my feet and say, I deserve this. And she said, you know what? The sooner you find out that you're no better than anyone else, and everyone else, nobody else is better than you, the better off we will all be in this world. And that was my mother. She was a character. But you know, it's a lesson. You know, if you're a student and you feel less than, if you feel you can't cut it, if you feel nervous and everybody else around you is better, you have to stop and realize that is just not the case. Because you have something in you that the next person doesn't have. And we say here, you know, come here, discover your passion, and find your purpose. If you just relax and just try to listen to what's going on inside of you, and let people help you to find that passion, you're going to be all right. And you're going to find out that there is something in you that's going to make you soar. But what happens is, you know, people get panicked, they get crippled by what they think is an inadequacy in them. And nobody's inadequate. You know, it's just not the way it is. And so my advice would be, reach out for help, reach within yourself to find out that thing in you that's going to be different from everyone else, but that's going to make you shine. And you know, I also think that we have a spiritual spark inside of us, and we have to tap into that, because that helps us to be connected to the broader world. It just so happens that last weekend I was in Ireland, and I was with my family, and we were walking up to the cliffs of Moher, and it's beautiful up there. And my nephew-in-law, he's a construction manager, and he's a big guy, he's in his 40s, and he says to me, you know, I feel close to God here. You know, he allowed the world to speak to him and to touch into his spirituality. And I think sometimes we forget that will give us some peace, and it will give us the ability to look inside of ourselves to see who we are and really tap into that and connect to the broader world. So that's what I would say. Chill. You'll be okay. Reach out. Ask for help. Connect to the broader world, and know that nobody's better than you. That's my message.
Wow. Understand that everyone has something
Yeah.
inside them that's
Yeah.
they can use to succeed.
So like,
Wow.
no matter what it is, you have it in you, and you just got to tap into it and just believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Honestly,
great
I,
advice.
I couldn't have asked for like a better way to end it. Like,
That's
what do you
perfect.
think?
Yeah.
That is honestly really perfect. And thank you for coming on the show.
Ruben and Jason, thank you so much. It was great to be with you.
Yeah.
I hope I can come again.
No, we
We'd
would
love
love
to have you. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we'd
we'd
good.
No,
love
I like
to
how
have
we
you.
both just
Yeah.
said at the same
We're
time, but
ready.
no, I feel like this is one of my favorite episodes we filmed.
And every season with Sister Mary.
It's perfect.
Dude, that's the perfect way to end the season. It's,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's yeah. This episode's a nice bow on season 1, and who knows? Maybe we'll end season 2 with you as well, or maybe we might have you in the middle once we get a little better with this, and hopefully you could see that we have gone up. And thank you for believing in us. It really means a lot.
You can't get much better. You're terrific.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you
Okay.
for taking the
All
time,
right.
and check everything else out. You guys know our social medias, but one thing I will plug is in the comment section below, check out Sister Mary's Twitter. I remember in the summer we were trying to get that up. So check that out. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Sister Mary, once again.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
New Year.
everyone.
There you go.
Have a good one, guys.